that site was one of the reasons that Las Vegas got developed. I mean, it was a crossroads of where Spanish Trail came through, and lots of settlers came through that site. And this was a stopping off point because it had water, it had a spring. It's the spring that fed the Las Vegas Creek, which then fed down through the rest of the valley.
I think what we offered was really creating sort of a visitor experience and interpretation of the pump station that is probably very not in a normal sort of pump station agenda.
Right, and I think the team and the water district also had, I think, a vision of what they saw in the long term. So they invested a little bit more in this facility to, like Debbie says, to make it an interpretive type facility. So people could go through. They wanted to show the public who aren't knowledgeable of how water gets pumped around, what's its purpose, where is it stored, how does it get cleaned, all of that. So they were trying to be more transparent, and that's what this facility does, is it gives the people the ability to come in and see the process. There was an old reservoir there. They used to house 50 million gallons of water, and they tore down the 30 million and built the 20 million gallon. And with that, the kind of exciting part that came about that was, we were trying to kind of conserve where we were putting this on site so you didn't do damage more to the site, because it's a historical site and there's a lot of features there you want to kind of contain and where we were disrupting the land. So we put the 20 million back on the same footprint and then put parking above it. So that was kind of a unique strategy. That was something the water district didn't do a lot of. They didn't want things on top of their reservoirs. So that was a challenge, I think, at first they had to kind of overcome. We worked with them on that.
Yeah, there was a lot of technology to make sure that there was no harm ever done to any of the water, because it is the potable water for downtown Las Vegas.
They store it for the downtown area. So what they do is they recharge the site during the winter time because they use less water. So water is pumped uphill from Lake Mead all across the valley. In fact, the water district is the largest energy user in the whole valley. So water takes a lot of energy to move around because you're pumping it uphill and it weighs a lot. So when you don't use water, you actually save energy.
We sort of use the analogy that you are the water. And so when you arrive at the facility, you come in through this giant pipe that has sort of an actual valve on top that opens and closes, a gate within the pipe so they can close the facility. But it looks like a giant pump with a valve. So you would come in through this concrete tube, similar to sort of a airplane jetway, and you come into an elevator lobby, and the elevator itself is also encased in a concrete pipe. So again, you are the water, and you travel first up to the second level, where you would then go back outside and into a viewing platform to the reservoir. So that's sort of the start of your visitor tour, if you will. Then the tour takes you back inside the building up to the third level, where you have big open windows that view down to the 200 lineal feet of pumps which is pretty, also pretty astonishing, because you don't get to see big equipment like that very often. So even if you're not really understanding quite how everything is working, it's still visually impactful.
The design of the whole structure, it is concrete, and it's that for a reason, because the amount of just force that goes with these facilities in maintaining, holding in the water, a 20 million gallon reservoir, but also the pumps, the amount of vibration that go with those. There is a massive amount of concrete that really has to, sustain that. And underneath it is what you'll never see, but there's like 5 or 8 feet deep of concrete that's 40 feet wide by 200 or 300 feet long that is there for a reason, but the concrete is important because you have to kind of house this massive structure. So we tried to play with that. And that's where the stratified concrete comes in, and using the different colors and the tones to kind of mimic the mountains and that type of thing. So we actually put a little bit more attention to this than normally just kind of hiding it within a community and putting walls up so nobody would see it. So it really became a place that we wanted to share, the client wanted to share with the public and show them that, this is something to come and see and experience.